Well, we're having a dinner party. I am making several things and we're gonna go through the menu and throw down in the kitchen. I'm gonna make a roasted chicken that I had an idea to make like a play on a chicken marbella, which is a recipe from Marcella Hazan that's like super 90s and it's supposed to have like prunes and stuff in it, but I'm not making it with any fruit or prunes in it, but that was where I was going. So we're doing it with like preserved lemon, lots of herbs, olives, and for that sweetness, instead of the prunes, I'm gonna do like a caramelized shallot. And then I'm going to make mashed potatoes, the classic, the best. I'm gonna make some broccolini with red chili, garlic, keep it simple. Oh, and I'm gonna make a really good chopped salad with some shaved fennel. And I think all of these flavors, like we're tying in, like with the lemons, and it's gonna really work, especially for springtime. I'm also making a really fabulous dessert, which is also something that I'm making up, but it's like a lemon cake piled with lemon curd and meringue, and it's almost like a play on an eaten mess. So it's gonna have lots of whipped cream and it's gonna just be really unctuous and delicious. So, and springtimey. And I think also like it'll tie in all the lemon flavor. So let's do it. You ready? Let's go. Well, usually when I do a dinner party, you work backwards from the courses. So dessert is gonna be first, and I'm gonna work on my meringue. I did some of it last night, like I prepared the cake and I made a lemon curd, and I'll show you the recipe for that later. But I'm gonna start with the meringue. So I'm gonna just use 3 egg yolks, room temperature, and I'm gonna put them in this bowl. And it's important to make sure that your bowl is impeccably clean because it affects the volume of the meringue if it's not clean, because egg whites are kind of finicky like that. A 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. There we go. And then I'm gonna whip that up and get it foaming. And then I'm gonna gradually add 3/4 cup of extra fine sugar. I'm gonna put a little lemon zest in there too, while that's finishing up. Yes. So you see that peak? That's what we're looking for. So that when you turn it upside down, it won't go anywhere. Okay. Now, gently, I'm gonna take it over here, and I'm gonna spread it on this silpat, my beautiful glossy meringue, and literally just put it right here in the center of my half sheet tray. Now you could pipe this or shape this into any shape you want, but I'm gonna kind of break it into shards. So we don't need to make it too pretty or perfect. It can be really casual, but still very impressive. And I'll make some swoops just for fun. And I'm making it flat, but not like too thin, just like 1 inch, 2 inches maybe high. And then I'm gonna cook it low and slow in a very cool oven for like 1.5 hours. Now mashed potatoes is the next thing because it's like the next longest thing. It's really just the prep. The mashed potatoes itself doesn't take a long time, and then you could always heat it. I'm probably gonna use this entire bag for 8 people. 5 pounds, 5 pounds of taters. Always keep a bowl or a pot of cold water and put them right in the cold water after you peel them because they'll oxidize and turn brown. We want white, pristine white mashed potatoes. So I put clean water just to cover them. You don't need that much water. And I'm gonna set these to boil, and it shouldn't take too long because they're cutting those little pieces. So we're gonna get going with that. I'm gonna heat up some cream, get my butter ready. Meanwhile, while that's cooking, I'm gonna make a limoncello syrup. Keep this in mind for later because I'm gonna use it on a dessert. But I'm just reducing limoncello by half, adding a squirt of Meyer lemon juice, then draining the potatoes once they're fork tender. And I like to turn the stove back on because the rest of the water is gonna cook out. That's all the water that's coming out, so they're getting nice and dry. So this is the Anne Burrell method. Hot cream, cold butter. Hot cream, cold butter. And this is like my favorite way of doing it. Keep mixing until the butter's all melted in. And again, hot cream. Cold butter. But with every addition, they get silkier. Hot cream. Cold butter. Just that. Cooking in archival La Croix. Okay. Woo! A workout. Now, I'm gonna put salt. Start with that much. Season to taste. They look great. I mean, wow. I'm gonna put a little more cream. And surprise, surprise. A little more butter. Okay. Pat your chicken dry really good. And I'm gonna salt both sides really good. I'm gonna put my salt down on a little paper so it doesn't get contaminated with the rest of the salt. Doing it on the bone gives it so much more flavor. I'm gonna just salt really generously and flip her over. Again, make sure she's real dry. That's how we get crispy, crispy skin. And I had this butterfly at the butcher, which you could just ask him to do. It's easier, I think, to work with and cut up when all is said and done. I'm gonna put a lot of salt, probably more than you think you need. So you can see in this other pan, I'm melting butter, and this is where I'm gonna do my shallots separately from the rest of my sauce, which I'm gonna make in a minute. And I'm just putting all of these quartered shallots that are still attached to the root in a pan with butter and sauteing them, flipping my chicken. Look how crispy that skin is going to be. And here I'm making a little tent. This is a culinary school trick that I've always taken with me that a chef taught me. You make like a little triangle with parchment paper, like a paper airplane almost, fold it all up, and then you're going to cut the end to fit the pan and cut the middle to make a little hole for steam. And then this is going to go on top, and it makes the most perfect caramelized onions ever. Great little hack. So next I'm going to put some salt, pepper, and sugar, and a big old knob of butter, and some white vermouth. You're going to see me use white vermouth in this recipe quite a bit. I like using white vermouth. It is a Julia Child classic. Like, I use that instead of white wine because it just stays in my cabinet all the time and it's more practical for me. So there's my knob of butter, and then I'm going to put my little tent of parchment on top and let that go for a little while. chicken is done, I'm going to take her off, let her rest, and then I'm going to work on my sauce. So I'm cutting up some ingredients. This is something that, like I said, it's sort of inspired by that Marcella Hazan chicken marbella with olives, and I've got these big beautiful caper berries. You could see those, and these are preserved lemons, Moroccan preserved lemons. These are Castelveltrano olives that I'm just having. I have Meyer lemons, sage, thyme, tarragon, lots of garlic. Then I'm going to take my tent off my shallots and swirl them around. The beauty of this trick is that the sugars don't burn and the shallots cook perfectly. Caramelized and nice. Okay, now I'm going to get the sauce going, which I'm going to just scrape up the brown bits from the bottom of the pan that I browned the chicken in. I'm going to add a whole sweet onion, lots and lots of whole garlic cloves, those halved olives, and the rest of my ingredients, the caper berries, the preserved lemon, the Meyer lemon. Saute that and get it going. I'm going to then reduce down some chicken stock and some white vermouth, dry white vermouth, and just let that bubble away. And then I'm going to let everybody get to know each other. I'm going to put my caramelized shallots into that concoction and everybody will get married. And what I'm creating by doing these elements separate is a perfectly composed dish. And we're going to let all of this come together, and then I'm going to put the chicken over it as it roasts. I'm going to let it roast covered for about 30 minutes and then uncovered for an extra 30 minutes until it's done. Well, now I'm going to make like a springtime little salad with some things that I have around. Romaine lettuce, I have a fennel bulb, I have a red onion, and I have a beautiful orange, which I think kind of ties into this citrusy theme that we have going on. And I also think fennel and orange go really good together. I also have some arugula. Slice up a full fennel bulb. I'm going to use the mandolin for the fennel because I want it to be really, really thin and almost kind of disappear in your mouth. We want it almost shaped. It's kind of fun. Arugula is super peppery. I think it's good with the fennel. Scatter that on top. Going to make my life easier and use a salad dressing that I have made previously. This is a salad dressing I always keep in my fridge. This is Good Seasons salad dressing, and it comes in a mix. And it comes with a cruet. This is a cruet. This thing. And it comes like this, and you put it with oil and vinegar, and everybody's like, how'd you make this dressing? And you're like, yeah, I did make it. Because technically, you did make it. You just used the packet of spices. And to kind of bring in this Mediterranean vibe, I'm going to take off some of the orange peel. And make sure you get the white pith off of it because that part's bitter. And I'm going to put that in the dressing. I'm going to peel it. And I'm going to go like this. So I'm going to see like the little membrane that goes around it all. And I'm just going to slice in between each one. So you get a perfect little, you call that a supreme, the little supreme of orange. So I'm going to do it again. And you just go all the way around. I'm going to squeeze and use all of the juice from this middle part into my dressing. I'm going to shake this up, and this is going to be so delish. I think that's a lovely little salad. Use it here. Get a snap, crackle, and pop. Out the way. This one. So the broccolini is done, and I'm going to keep that warm in the oven while I start on the dessert. Cream. And let's get that going. I'm going to spoon in some superfine sugar. Not too much. I don't want it super sweet, actually. Well, we're in the home stretch, and I'm gonna assemble this cake. Now this I made yesterday. It is a lemon cake. It's actually the same recipe as my lemon loaf cake, but I put it in a round. And while it was still warm, I put it in plastic wrap so that it stays moist. And this is just like a concoction I'm literally making up on the spot. But I just thought it would be good. My limoncello syrup that we made earlier, and I'm going to brush it on my cake and let her soak in a little bit just to moisten it. I made lemon curd as well yesterday, which is super easy, but it's good to make it the day before so it sets up nice and firm. I'm gonna put that in the middle. Okay, I'm gonna take my fresh whipped cream, put that on top of that. And then I think I'm gonna put this in the fridge until everybody gets here. And I'm gonna break up that meringue on top. It's gonna be so good. A cheese board. And I went to my favorite cheesemonger, Sarah, at Monsieur Marcel. And she always picks out the best cheeses. I kind of tell her the vibe. And always take your cheeses out like at least an hour, or maybe even set them out. I set them out to room temperature because I don't like a cold cheese board. And you could see I placed down some lemon leaves from my garden, just because like a little backdrop. All of these cheeses have this like kind of floral citrusy note that's gonna go with the rest of the dinner. And I just place them around randomly. Always have a soft one too, like a brie of a sort, but this one is really unique. It's actually called Cremo Unique, and it's just a really unusual cheese. I've never tasted anything like it before. It's a brie, but it's very soft. But yeah, it has those like kind of floral, grassy notes. You can almost taste the cow eating the grass in France. And picture it in the sun. Tastes so good. Okay, now I'm gonna put some crackers around. And then just have like a mix of textures and shapes, and it just makes for a cute board. I also have baguettes. I have this really cute focaccia that I bought. So just a little variety, you know? Flavors, textures. That's what I'm always thinking about all the time, constantly. And just place these around to fill in the gaps. Okay, and that's another step done. Lovely. I also have some pretty springtime bowls, and I'm gonna put an assortment of nuts. These are smoked chilies, cashews, almonds, all different kinds of things. That also ties into the Mediterranean vibe. I always put one like in the living room or in different rooms where people are hanging out so that they can like reach and have a little nibble if they want. Always something to eat, always something to touch, smell, taste. It's a full sensory experience. So here we go. Well, my guests are starting to trickle in, and I'm just finishing up this dessert by taking this meringue, which is crispy on the outside and it's still a little bit gooey in the middle, and I'm putting it on top of this cake, which is lemon cake, lemon curd, cream, and the meringue, and putting some fresh raspberries, and that's it. Look at my gorgeous dinner. This chicken with preserved lemon, olives, capers, and caramelized shallots, a beautiful cheeseboard, mashed potatoes, broccolini, with garlic and oil and red chili, and what else? Just so many goodies to choose from and taste. And I had so much fun, and I'm so excited to have a ball with my friends. Now I get to relax and enjoy the party with everybody else. This whole party from beginning to end took about 3 hours, but I had so much fun along the way. Thanks for cooking with me. My guests are already starting to trickle in, and I'm just finishing up the dessert by taking some big shards of that meringue that we made. It's gooey in the center and crispy on the outside, so it adds amazing texture to this cake. And I'm putting fresh raspberries, and that is it. My dinner party. I have this beautiful Mediterranean chicken with lemons and my cheese board, fresh baguettes, broccolini, this beautiful springtime salad with fennel and orange, my gorgeous dessert, and all kinds of goodies and accoutrements for everybody to enjoy. I had so much fun making this party with you. I think I'm going to do it again and again and again.